Okay, everyone, welcome. I'm sorry for any delays, as usual. Um, and we are live. Just trying to finish up, making sure everyone is aware. It's a great class, our first class on Purim that we advertised. I'm going to start doing tonight. Please share it with your friends. It's an exciting topic and important to know the laws, because we get to Purim and we get confused, and especially after we drink a little bit. We sometimes are even more confused. As you could see, my camera is upside down in honor of Purim, but we'll turn it back in a moment to make it easier for people to watch. It's just for the fun. Let me make sure on Facebook everyone is aware. Sorry, we just have to get that up. Facebook up. Sorry, we're just a little delayed here. So this year, interestingly, it's also a leap year, so it gets a little more confusing. We just celebrated Purim and Shushan Purim Katan, which ends up making it even more confusing. What is Katan and what is Purim and Shushan Purim in the first month? Because we have 2 months of Adar. So yeah, we could talk about these things too. But for now, we're going to start with the basic laws. And any questions, please ask. Remember, you could comment below in the YouTube channel, as well as it's on Facebook, on our live Facebook page. We're going to be uploading that right now on Facebook. Sorry, it's been a little bit busy this week. We didn't have our regular halacha class yesterday, and we will make it up. We're holding by the laws of Tillin, in fact, which is also very exciting. And everyone, don't forget, while we're at it, while I'm trying to get this up, don't forget about 5 on Friday with the Rabbi. You're welcome to dedicate a class, a session, 5 on Friday, which is a 5-minute beautiful takeaway. We're going to be doing it again tomorrow. Every week we do it. We have everything stored on our library, on YouTube, and on Facebook. So please check it out. As well as for Shabbos, we're going to be having a minyan with God's help, and anyone that could help contribute both financially and as well being part of the minyan, that would be very kind of you. We want to thank already the kind contributor towards the Kiddush, Mark Plain, of $100 towards the Kiddush. In order for the Kiddush to be bigger and better, the more the contributions are, the merrier and nicer. And this week especially, that we're going to be doing catering out of Chabad. It's more important that we get more, especially more funds, because Chaya kindly always is the one doing the cooking. She volunteers her time with her great cooking, but this week we're giving Chaya a break. So whoever wants to contribute, you're welcome to. And please, for the minyan, if you have a friend, anyone you know, reach out, let them know that Chabad has a great minyan every Shabbos, great kids activities. The kids will be here once again this week, and it's going to be really nice. And it's the month of Adar. We're getting closer to this to the new month, the next month of Adar very soon. So we're getting very close to Purim now. We have a lot of activities. Also, don't forget that for Purim, we have an amazing event, Purim in the Persian Palace, that already is in the works. And a meeting has already taken place with with different specs for this amazing event. We want it to be the most beautiful and amazing time ever we've had before, bigger and better. So that's for the families. It's going to be on Thursday, March 21st. And then we, at 5:30, with Megillah reading, with a costume contest. It's going to be just amazing, with amazing prizes. Everyone should dress their finest. We're going to have a prize both for the kids and for the adults. This is going to be a real contest, as well as we're going to have great food, amazing Persian food, cooked specially for the event. Some homemade, some bought, but really good stuff. We're going to have amazing entertainment for the kids and adults alike. Stay tuned for more details about that. Everyone's going to be able to do the mitzvah of Shalach Manot. We're going to have prepared Shalach Manot that everyone can give to their friend. Make sure we do all the mitzvot of Purim, and especially to come and sit and enjoy and say L'chaim and be part of the mitzvah of Seudas Purim, of eating the feast of Purim. And on that note, if you have a babysitter and you would like to continue the feast like the way it's meant to be into the night, please try to organize that you could take your kids home eventually and then come back to continue the enjoyment of the Purim feast, which is the proper way to do it, to start before sundown and continue into the night of Purim with celebrations, words of wisdom, and everyone could share that Torah, and could be really beautiful. And we have a lot of amazing things in that aspect that we will update you with. Wednesday, the night of Purim, which is Wednesday, is the fast of Tainus Esther. Not to forget that if you're able to fast. It's an easy fast. So if you're really, if you need a consult or you want to ask the rabbi, you're welcome to. But usually, if your head is hurting, your eyes are hurting, it's usually as easy as that. Like the law will tell us, and we're going to learn about it soon. And you're allowed to eat. However, if you're able to, please fast. And the fast ends 7:35. We will on Wednesday night 7:35 daven, pray the evening prayers, and as well have Megillah reading like the mitzvah is of the day, both at night and day. And we will at 7:35 do the evening prayers and Megillah, and then we will have beautiful, amazing music, dancing, with fresh, amazing hamantashen that you all know about already from years before, straight from the manufacturer. We go late at night to pick up really, really good, all different flavors, assortment of flavors, and we will enjoy hamantash and say l'chaim, and perhaps continue also a little fabringen, a little bit of a gathering. Both men and women are welcome. That's going to be on the night of Wednesday. It was great last year. I remember we all were dancing. We really had a great time. The people stayed, and it was really nice. And then there was another group that ended up showing up later, and we had to continued the party. So we could do that as well on Wednesday. And of course, like I said, Thursday is the main party. RSVP is already up online. Please go to chabadfhn.com to RSVP. It's only $15 per person, both kids and adults alike. It's, like I said, amazing, great full dinner for the kids and adults, and amazing entertainment. And any kind contributions towards this event, it's a very costly event. It's over $1,000. And we're going to need any kind support. We want to thank any already those that have come forward to support, and we are giving the opportunity of a 360 holiday sponsor, or any contribution of your ability. Please be in touch with the rabbi, or you could do that online as well. There's that option. Don't forget March 1st. March 1st we have a dinner. March 1st we have a dinner. A special dinner in honor of the second Adar, in honor of the month of the Purim, the real Purim, and the real excitement. And it's the new month, Adar Beis, Adar 2, and we're gonna have a special Shabbat dinner that we haven't had in a long time, a Shabbat dinner, public dinner at Chabad. It's been a long time since we've had that. We're gonna be doing that finally in honor of the Purim holidays. It's gonna be a big step for the future. We're gonna continue doing this more often with hopefully special guests and the like. So this one is March 1st. RSVP is already up as well, and please do that as soon as possible, because we're already getting closer to this special Shabbos. Please go and do your RSVP. It's $36 for adults and $25 for children under 12 years of age. And it's like a full four-course meal by Chaya, and an amazing time where we're going to sing and speak words of wisdom together with the community, really in this home style setting at Chabad. Tell your friends. Contributions are also welcome, but RSVP is a must for that online. And if you need to be in touch with the rabbi for any other reason, please let us know. Without further ado, I'm going to make sure that we get this up on Facebook. There was a little bit of a delay here, sorry. Halacha class number 1. On YouTube live. Okay. We're actually going to go live. Go live. Not sure what happened here. I want to go live. I wanted to go live on Facebook as well. It's not giving me that option. Live. Here we go. I think I got it. It's accessing the camera. I'm sorry, guys, for the delay. I'm going to turn the camera back forward so now everyone can see me properly without getting headaches. And we'll wait for Purim for any other things like that. Okay, I think we're ready. We're going live here. Okay. Okay, so thank you all for joining, whoever's still joining. And please let us know where you're joining from and ask your questions if you have any that come up. So, our rabbis taught us, they commanded us to read, or I should say they instituted, that we should read 4 portions, which is closest to the month of Nisan. Okay, so we're not holding in the 2nd month yet even, right? You might say I'm jumping the gun, but we're learning through the laws as they are in the Shulchan Aruch set up. So please don't mind me, and it's all good to know when the time comes. But yes, closer to the month of Nisan. So it doesn't start now, it starts closer to the month of Nisan. And he says like this, like we just said, that in the months where they are leap, like in this year, that we have 2 others, they start in the 2nd month. And like he will explain. The first one is called Parshat Shkalim. This one is Zikaron. It's a remembrance of the mitzvahs machzah shekel. The half a shekel that every Jew would give. Sorry if you're not seeing it properly on Facebook. Please excuse the... Okay. If there's, I could sit like this to make it easier for everyone. Don't want people to feel like I'm talking to their back. I think this way everyone, both cameras see nicely. Excellent. So just by the way, again, we've mentioned this in the past, we have this now on 2 channels. We have it on YouTube and Facebook, and hopefully on more channels, and hopefully we're going to enhance it in the future. At times I like to also get it clearer on either YouTube or Facebook. Today it's clear on YouTube, but less on Facebook. Last time we had it clear on both channels. We're going to try to keep on upgrading and making it better, bigger and better. If anyone has any ideas or advice, please let us know. And of course, also in terms of the mic, we are going to also try to enhance that because I know it's a little bit weak too. So we'll get there. Anyway, but in the meantime, hopefully everyone hears and sees. So the first one is Parshat Shkalim. The Zikarim mitzvah machzah shekel, which is a remembrance for the mitzvah of the shekel. That every Jew had to give every year in order to buy the carbon tamid, which was a regular day-to-day carbon, and the carbonot tzibur and the carbones of the community. And on the 1st of the month of Adar, it was announced, they were told about the shkolim. And because that happened then, that's why we say it's specific on Chedesh Adar. Or at least the Shabbos before it, like we will see. Interestingly, we talk about the concept of a half a shekel this week, Parshas Nosei. Nothing to do with the parsha, meaning not because we have to read the Parsha Shkolim. Just it happens to be that we're reading Parshas Nosei this week, and and it talks about the half, which is a very, very special significance about the half. Each one brought a half, and the concept of bringing a half is to bring the wholesomeness and the unity of the Jewish people. That one by itself is the half. When two Jews meet together, it's a whole. There's a famous joke that says when two Jews meet, there's three opinions, and we're hoping and praying that when two Jews meet, it shouldn't be three opinions, it should be a wholesomeness and unity, and that we're hoping, in its fullest sense, will be when Mashiach comes. But as of now, the purpose is that when Jews meet, it should bring a unity, a unification, and a completeness, and a sort of a atonement as well. And that's why it was also in place of an atonement, because of the calf, the golden calf, etc. So it's very important for us to have that in mind. And we're going to talk about also the fact that we actually today, to commemorate that, we actually meant to bring a half a shekel. We have real silver coins, American dollars that we use for this purpose. And I guess I should have brought it with me. If I need to run and get it, I will. It will be nice to show everyone. But yes, we still try to commemorate that mitzvah and actually do it in real life. It's sort of you're acquiring it as if, and then putting it back down, and then you give in change, you give the amount equivalent. The second portion. Okay, so every week, like we said, leading up to Chodesh Nisan, to the month of Nisan, we read 4 portions, and the second portion, the next week, what are we going to read after the second month of Adar is called Zachar, is called to remember. What is it? L'zikor ma'aseh Amalek. This purpose of this reading, this additional reading that we read, again, it's an additional reading from the regular portion. We sort of make a special, like you would do on a holiday, make a special reading for the holiday. This is a special reading to read these portions. The second reading is about the story of Amalek. Why are we reading about the story of Amalek? The Purim. Why do we read before Purim? To connect the eradication of Amalek to the downfall of Haman, which was Mizera Amalek, which was from that lineage. And because they had a connection between each other, they come from the same lineage. We want to bring out, we want to talk about that aspect of eradication and the downfall of Haman in the same context. And that's why we read it specifically then, because they have a connection between each other. Hashlish, Parshas Para. The third portion is Parshas Para. Parshat Para, the parsha of the calf. What does that mean? That they would burn the calf in the desert, Samach Nisan, prior to the month of Nisan. Why? We know about the red heifer. We know about the famous stories that we see sometimes in the newspaper about the fact that in Israel they're finding, or sometimes even in the United States, right? They found this red heifer, a special red cow that has to have specific guidelines, what makes it red, and that it has to stay red, etc. And this is sort of a sign that Mashiach is going to come. We say the 10th one is going to be when Mashiach comes. And that is going to purify the Jewish people in order to be able to go into the Holy Temple. And that was the only way that they could get purified back in the day. And this is the only one that will purify us to be able to greet Mashiach and have all the Messianic aspects to it of the temple and its carbonis, etc., and all these things like once was. And we say that 10th one is when Mashiach comes. So when we see all of a sudden a red heifer, a red cow that purifies the Jewish people, we say, hey, maybe this is a sign. Not only maybe, but we get excited, and that's why it's all over the news. Maybe this is for sure. This is going to be a sign of Mashiach, and any day Mashiach could come. And the concept is that it has to be continuously red and has to stay red. And sometimes when they grow older, they lose their redness, and then it's disqualified, and the rabbis come and inspect it. Mashkiach, like a mashkiach kashrut, like a person who goes into a restaurant and checks the kosher food, that it's kosher. Their rabbis continuously are inspecting it. Google the red heifer or whatever, and you could see possibly different write-ups that came up now in the recent years. And I think there's even one right now that's still red. And every so often, sometimes these things pop up, and sometimes they get disqualified after a year or two, or after a few months. Right now, I think there might be one still that's red. And the amazing thing is that if it is red, then this is a great sign of Mashiach, and we could actually purify ourselves with it. By, like it said, by concept, in way of burning it and using its ashes to purify the Jewish people. It might sound strange, but this is the way it was done. What was the purpose? The purpose was it was done in the desert before the Nisan holiday in order for them to be able to do the Pesach in purity, to do the Pesach offering in purity. So they burnt it in the desert before Nisan in order to make sure that it should be done in purity, that when they brought the Karban Pesach, the sacrifice of the Pesach sacrifice, that we eat that we don't eat, that we have on the Seder plate, that shenkbon, that is a remembrance for the Pesach offering that was totally, right? That was tzli, we said, it was burnt. It was very roasted, right? That this burning of the ashes of the calf was in order, the red heifer was in order for us to be pure, to be able to do this special sacrifice in purity. That's why we do this, we read about it before Nisan, because that's when it was actually done. And the Revi'is, the fourth portion, is Parshas HaChidesh. It is called the Parsha of Chodesh, Sheba Mitzvah Asiyas HaPesach, that in that it talks about the mitzvah of making the Pesach offering itself. So everything has its context. We don't just do it. We're doing it. We don't read it just to read it. We're reading it because it has a pertinent, it's very pertinent, and has a connection between that time. He says further, and I'm sorry that perhaps you don't have with what to follow, because I'm reading in a specific book that sort of accumulates all the halachot together and makes it more simplified. In fact, in Hebrew, for those that speak Hebrew, I can refer you to it. It's called Sheva Chamayadim, and you can learn it, and also the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch in the Shulchan Aruch itself. The law is both an elaborated or abbreviated. They have many other books, many other great rabbis that have put a culmination of these laws together. What I'm going to be teaching you, and anything more than that anyone wants to add from their minhagim, their customs, as well as any minhagim that I know of others, I will mention. But for the most part, we will be telling you the customs of Chabad, and that's what also this book is unique about. It sort of circles specifically the Chabad customs and how we act, which are sometimes differing to others and maybe sometimes unique and different, which is always nice to know about as well. Again, any questions, please ask. Interesting. Okay, I'm sorry for any delays. Okay, sorry for any waiting over here. I was just trying to see, someone wrote something very interesting, comments, etc. Okay, next. What if Rosh Chodesh Adar, the new month of Adar, fell out on Shabbos? We take out 3 Sefer Torah on Shabbos. It's amazing if you could have Rosh Chodesh on Shabbos, and it's the Rosh Chodesh which you read the first portion, Shkolim. So what are you going to do? B'Rishon, you're going to go read 6 men. For 6, you're going to call up 6 men in the weekly portion. B'Sheni Kerem Shvi. In the second Torah, you're going to read the 7th portion, which is Parshas HaChodesh, Rosh Chodesh. You have to read the Parsha of Rosh Chodesh, right? That we always read on Rosh Chodesh. And then, B'Shlishin, on the 3rd Torah, it's Maftir Parsha Shkolim, you're going to read the Parsha of Shkolim. And if you remember, Hanukkah this year, we also read 3 Torahs, which is very unique and very unusual. And it was a big deal, and everyone was excited about it. And in Chabad, we had 2 Torahs, I think, at that point, and we made sure to have the at least for the second Torah, we made sure to roll it up, and we read in the second Torah a 3rd person. So here, you might have thought it's only Hanukkah or something, but here you see there's other occasions where you do 3. you see here on this type of Shabbos, you're also gonna do 3 portions. Marilyn, welcome to our class. We miss you, and thank you for watching and enjoy. And I hope all is well. And I hope to see you guys very soon. I hope everyone's okay and everyone's feeling well, because I heard that there's a situation over there in the atria is not the greatest. I'm gonna hopefully be in touch and see you guys soon. And if there's anything I could do to help, please let me know. Thank you for coming on to watch. So we have here a dear friend that's watching with us from the atria, assisted living. Special woman, comes to always our weekly Shabbos services, which we most recently wasn't able to happen for different reasons. Okay, so we're holding by. So we said already that if we were on Rosh Chodesh on Shabbos, this is the way it would be done. The third one, we would do Parsha Shkolm, like we said, the Parsha of Shkolm, like we have to do for the first one of the 4 portions. Maftir is Parsha Shkolm. What do you do? What do you do for the Haftorah? You do the Parsha of Shkolim. Parsha of Shkolim, Minhag Chabad, and this is where he adds the Minhagim, the customs. The Chabad custom is that we add a certain pasuk, a certain section, a certain paragraph. The pasuk Rishon, the first and last pasuk of the Rosh Chodesh Haftorah, that they do usually for Rosh Chodesh, because it's Rosh Chodesh. So that's only if that's the way it happened, if that's how it fell out. But then he says, if Rosh Chodesh ended up during the week, Rosh Chodesh ended up during Makdim L'Gis Parsha Shkolim b'Shabbos, so you're meant to make sure to do the Parsha Shkolim, the Shabbos before Rosh Chodesh. It shouldn't be after, it should be before. And then what are you going to do? You're going to take out 2 Torahs. One is going to be for the Parsha of the week, and the second one for the Haftorah, for the Maftir, is going to be Shkalim. And you'll do 2. Because during the week you do the Rosh Chodesh. It didn't happen on Shabbos. What if Parshat Shkalim? Because we said that the Parsha of Shkalim has to be the Shabbos before Rosh Chodesh. What if Rosh Chodesh is going to be literally on Sunday? So meaning the Chabad custom is again. Then there's a concept that when you have Rosh Chodesh the day later, so the Haftorah starts Macha Chodesh, right? Because that it happened the day later, we make sure on the Shabbos to also add in those details of that Haftorah as well. This is the Minhag Chabad specifically. And what's nice is in our books we have all the minhagim, all the customs, because what Chabad is all about is to unify everyone, to connect everyone. We don't want to leave anyone out. We have Sidurs for those that do Sephardic. We have the Al Rizal, which is very Sephardic. We have an Ashkenazi Siddur here. We also have in the Haftorahs, it says what Chabad's custom is, what Ashkenazim, what Sephardim do, because we want to make sure everyone feels at home at Chabad. And that is really a very important thing, and it matters very much, and it's very, very, how should I say it? It touches the core of a Chassid, Chabad, and hopefully every one of us should learn in that way, because that's what the Rebbe taught us, and we can't leave one person alone. No Jew could be left behind. And that's why in every aspect of Chabad, you will find that that's the case. If you look mindfully about every way we act and what we do and how the Rebbe instituted things, it was always about unifying. It was always about bringing another Jew in. It was always about making sure every Jew is not alone, every Jew is at home. And that's very important. And it's nice, once we're talking about it, it's nice to also emphasize that again. Again, if anyone has any questions, you're welcome to type, to ask. You could call us. Maybe one day they'll have these opportunities on live broadcasts to actually speak up and talk. We'll hear people asking questions. I mean, they have such what you call classes, classrooms online, which you could do that. But I'm thinking that the live broadcasting could also have that option. Would be a nice thing. That way, random people that join, it doesn't have to be by any hardship. It should just be a natural. Another button that you press. Parshas Zachor. Kerem b'Shabbos l'fnei Purim. Parshas Zachor, we read on the Shabbos. Parshas Zachor, we read on the Shabbos before Purim, right? The Shabbos right before Purim, and we take out two Torahs, Echad l'Parshas Hashavua, V'Asheni l'Parshas Zachor. We take out the two Torahs like we do for the Shkolim if it fell out during the week, the Rosh Chodesh, and we say the Parsha of the week with the 7 men, and from after we say Parshas Zachor. The Shabbos l'fnei Rosh Chodesh, on the Shabbos before Rosh Chodesh Nisan, we read the Parsha of HaChodesh, like we said. And what do we take out? We take out two Torahs, and if Rosh Chodesh Nisan fell out on Shabbos, so then Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh, or Parsha HaChodesh, is also Parsha HaChodesh. The Shabbos itself is going to be the Parsha of Chodesh, like similar to the Shkolim one. We're going to take out three Torahs. I'm going to take out three Torahs again. Rishon, Keren, Shisha, Gavri. The first one we're going to read for 6 men. The second one we're going to read the 7th man for Chodesh, or Nisan. And the third one we're going to read the Chodesh. And then we're going to do from after this Parshas HaChodesh, the Haftorah for Parshas HaChodesh, for that special Parsha that we added. Min Chabad, and still again, for the same reason like we did by Shkolim, when the Rosh Chodesh was on Shabbos, the Chabad is going to add in the first and last pasuk of the Haftorah for Rosh Chodesh, to mention Rosh Chodesh as well. And if Parshas HaChodesh was before Rosh Chodesh, so then we take out, then we add in the Haftorah again, like Shkolim, if it was a day later, so then we say Machar Chodesh, we add in the Machar Chodesh concept in the Haftorah. And the Shabbos before Parshas HaChodesh, he goes back and he says, and the Shabbos before the Parsha of HaChodesh is called Parshas Para, is the Parsha of Para Mitzim Bagam Kain Shnei Sefer Torah, and we take out 2 Sefer Torah again for the same reason. And we read about the Para that we said was done to purify the Jewish people, which was also close to Nisan, but it wasn't all the way close. Meaning, it was in general, it was close to Nisan. Here, we want to make sure that the Chodesh, which is specifically talking about the Korban Pesach, which was literally in the Chodesh Nisan, therefore it's done closer to Nisan than the Para one. I just want to check something on the calendar. Please bear with me. Sorry we're going a little bit over time because we started late. And please bear with me as well for that reason. Aliza Chaya, thank you for joining. We miss you. And we hope to see you this Shabbos. And I hope all is well. Just important to check so everyone's acquainted with the month of the year and where we're holding. Okay. So for the month of Adar, Rosh Chodesh is on Friday. For the month of Nisan, however, that's why I checked this. For the month of Nisan, I'm happy to say that we actually have Rosh Chodesh on Shabbos. And that's what he's saying. Like he says over here, we're going to say it again. If Rosh Chodesh Nisan fell out on Shabbos, which for this year, that is the case, not other, but Nisan. Rosh Chodesh Nisan is on Shabbos, the 6th of April. We're going to read, and it says also that it's a Chodesh. It's mentioned in our calendar. For those that have it, great. For those that don't, please, you're welcome to pick one up. We still have, if you want to give it to a friend also in honor of Purim or the Pesach, to have a Jewish calendar. It's nice to know, and all the dates are there of our events. But there it says, on the day of Rosh Chodesh Nisan, which is Shabbos, there we're going to read HaChodesh. And like he says, I'm going to clarify it again. If Rosh Chodesh Nisan fell out on Shabbos, then on Shabbos Rosh Chodesh, we read the Parsha of Chodesh like it says in our calendar. And we're going to read 3 Torahs. Wow. Guys, so stay tuned. Stay tuned. We're going to have a big Shabbos, no matter what, with 3 Torahs. And it's a big deal. And maybe we'll even hopefully be able to get a 3rd Torah to join us this time around. And like we said, what are you going to do? We're going to read in the first 6. In the first Torah, the first 6 people are going to be called up. The second Torah, the 7th, is going to get the Parsha of Rosh Chodesh for the new month because it's Rosh Chodesh. And the third one, the 3rd Torah, is going to read the Maftir, which is the 8th. And that's going to be in HaChodesh. We're talking about the Korban Pesach. And because it's Rosh Chodesh, we're going to read in the Haftorah. In our Chabad custom is to add about the fact that it's Rosh Chodesh in it. So that's very special. And because of that, the Shabbos before that is called Shabbos Parshas Parah, which is March 30. We're going to bless the new month. It's also a very special Shabbos. It's going to be called Shabbos Parshas Parah, which is Parshas Shmini. And we're going to read in that portion also 2 Torahs. So it's a very special altogether that we have 2 Torahs. We're going to be taking out 2 Torahs. Usually we take out 1 Torah and we go and we read them after from out of 1. The fact that we have 2 Torahs is altogether special. The fact that we can read 3 Torahs is amazing. It's really, that means there's 3 people lifting the Torah. It's very, very, very special. So it's just additional blessing. And it's an amazing scene to see 3 Torahs come out. It reminds us of a special holiday. It reminds us of good times. It reminds us of very, 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 very special occasions and also happy occasions like Simchas Torah, where we take out all the Torahs from the Ark. And there's many other things about it as well. Welcome, Scott. Thank you for joining. So that's that. It was good I checked the calendar about that. It's nice to know. I want to quickly finish off this and then get to more of the happy things and not so technical about the month of Adar. And I know these classes, are about Purim. So you might ask why we're talking about these things. Because maybe I didn't mention it and I'm sorry, but everything we're learning about, everything we're talking about is not just about Purim itself, it's about what leads up to Purim and how we're getting closer to that time, bringing that excitement to that time. Marilyn, thank you. I hope so. I will try to see if that's still possible. And thank you. Thank you for reaching out. And thank you for your love and care. And I hope everything's okay with you guys and everyone's well. Have a Shabbat Shalom. So, Parsha Zachor, the Parsha that we read about, and this is pertaining to Purim, I should say, because it talks about Amalek, eradicating Amalek, which has to do with Haman. That's why we read it. And it's the Shabbos before Purim, we read this portion. And That Parsha of Zohar, it's an obligation from the Bible, from the Torah. Guys, it's no joke. Sometimes we miss a Torah reading or something, right? But the Parsha Zohar, this Parsha is a chovah min Torah. It's an obligation from the Torah that everyone should hear it. And this is how it's accepted. It's an obligation from the Torah to read it. And everyone should be there. That means men, women, and children. And there are those that say that also the Parsha of Para is from the Torah. There are also those later rabbis that say also that Parsha Para is not from the Torah. So it's sort of an argument about that, but that's why he says there are those that say about Parshas Parah, but definitely about Zohar. Hearing the Parsha of Zohar, eradication of Amalek, is an obligation from the Torah. And therefore, the one who's reading it has to have in mind to fulfill the mitzvah for all those that are listening. And everyone has to also have in mind to be fulfilled via the reader. What if, sometimes in Chabad we feel this way, we feel like we're in the outback or some other in the country or in a far off country. B'nei HaYishuvim, in those settlements, in those villages, she'ein lahem minyan, there's no minyan. Very much like the typical Chabad house out there. Sometimes has no minyan. And sometimes even in Manhattan, in our own busy city, sometimes on a Shabbos it gets very quiet. In the winter, maybe especially even more in the summer. I happened to be in Manhattan helping a rabbi in the summer months. It was very hard on a Shabbos to find a few Jews to come in and help make sure that there's a minyan in Manhattan. So we don't have to always point fingers at ourselves. Where's our minyan? And we don't have to either say the grass is greener on the other side, and we don't always have to use others to pride ourselves or say we're okay either. But I'm just bringing out the concept that sometimes even in the busiest places, even where there's so many Jews, sometimes there's less of a minyan. But here he wants to bring out that point by telling us sometimes in the village or in the country or in a far off place that they don't have a minyan. So he says like this: everyone has to make sure to go out of their way to go to a place that they're going to read the portions of these parshas. If usually you don't have a minyan, right? Everyone has to make sure to go to that place. Maybe if it means you have to travel before Shabbos, to make sure you're going to be in a place that they're going to have a minyan. In order to be able to read these parshas, the parsha of Zohar and Parshas Parah, because some say it's also a Torah aspect, to hear it with a minyan. And what if you can't come there? At least you should be careful to read it with its tamim, with its song. At least read it correctly from the right way, with its song and with its correct vowels, etc. That's how important it is. If you're really in a desperate situation that you can't. But nevertheless, we learn from this how important it is for these specific Shabbosim to be in a place of a minyan. And that's why Chabad, we're going to make sure we're going to continue having our amazing minyan that we have already every week. We could say nearly, I could say basically every week, besides maybe one or two where we didn't have a minyan. Thank God, ever since the holidays. It's been a big success, and we're going to continue doing it. We're going to have a minyan this week. And for those that are able to come, please come this week and spread the word. And every week, and especially on those weeks where it's so important. There are those that say that women are obligated to come to the shul to also hear this portion of Zachar. It tells us about the eradication of Amalek in connection with Haman, which is the same lineage. And there are those that have nevertheless say that they are exempt. So it's only a some say. What does he therefore say? He says like this. says, being that the mitzvah of Parsha Zachor is not a mitzvah which is bound by time. It's a mitzvah that is always an obligation. Therefore, it's also something to always remember to eradicate Amalek every day of our life. That's what it says in the Torah. And because that is an obligation every day, therefore it's not bound by a specific time. And because it's not bound by a specific time, therefore women should also be obligated, says the Minchas Chinuch. And that's his and he says it's also, there's a prohibition there. Therefore, it's so important that the women should hear it too. That's his understanding. Okay, I guess it's so important that possibly even the women should, and they should try obviously to come if they could. And it is, and the custom is at the end of the day, because of that women actually are obligated to hear it. If the women didn't hear it on the day, we say at least on Purim they should make that up on Purim day when we read again that same portion. Katan hayidei lach techesis betay v'yidei lami mavarchim yochel alis lamaftar afulara parshas. A katan, a young child who's not even really what we call a person's not bar mitzvah, but he knows how to read words. He knows who he's saying the brachas to. He's allowed to go for the maftir of these portions. He's allowed to go up to the Torah. Oh, you might say, but if it's a chova, if it's an obligation from the Torah, how could a katan, how could a young child go up? And everyone has to fulfill the mitzvah. And if he's not obligated in mitzvahs, how could he? He says, because the person who's reading from the Torah is the one reading, even if he's called up, that's not a big deal. So it's not him, it's really the cantor that reads from the portion. And therefore, he says, the Shulchan Aruch, the Code of Jewish Law says, it's okay, they could get called up. Nevertheless, we don't really do that for the most part if there is a guy that's over bar mitzvah. So we can't count the young child for a minyan anyway, in general, for the prayers. So we have always 10 men. So usually we call up the older guys, the guys that are bar mitzvah. But he says you could still call up a katan, a young child. Parsha Zachor the parsha of Zachor, of eradication of Amalek, which is the parsha of Kiseitze. In that portion, how do we read it? It says Timcha Zecher. We're meant to say Zecher Amalek. We're meant to say with a Tzeirei, and then afterwards a second, the vowels, the way they have to be, Zecher. We Purim Shekriya Yimi Parshas Pashalach, and in Purim, where we read it from a different portion. It's the same concept of Amalek, talking about eradication of Amalek, but it's from a different portion. There it's read Emche. It says it different as Zecher. It starts with Segol and ends with Tzeirei in the vowels. The other way around, Zecher. So we read it twice. And why is that? It's because of the way it's meant to be read. There are different, there's controversy how it should be read, and therefore we fulfill both rabbis, or I should say both ways that we say it was from Moshe Rabbeinu in order to make sure it's done right. Therefore we do both while we're reading it. And depending on which week we're reading. And it says this explanation for this is written in Kabbalah. He says because the main way it was in Bashalach is specifically Segel, That's why you say Zecher first. And Pitzeti, the main one was A. That's why you start with that. And why it's done that way, let's explain in Kabbalah further. Okay. He says some more details about it in the footnotes. I'm not going to get into it. With this, we're going to conclude, or I should say, we'll give it another 8 minutes, and we're going to read a little bit about the month of Adar. So change some scenery, because we got a little technical till now. Any questions, please ask. The month, the customs of the month of Adar. The custom of the month of Adar is Marbin B'Simcha, we're meant to increase in happiness. Mishenichnas Adar, when Adar comes, Marbin B'Simcha. There are those that say Shepishish Mishenichnas Meis Mild Halavana de Chedesh. Already when the moon is already gives birth in this month, that's when you're already meant to start increasing. And there's that say it's the time when there are those that add and they say that's even the time when we bless the Rosh Chodesh. In the time with the leap year, like in our case, where there's 2 months of Adar, went to increase in happiness in both months. Isn't that exciting? In fact, in 770, they have live dancing and music. Live dancing and music every single night of both months of Adar. So if you ever want to go there and check it out, it's really exciting. Unfortunately, a situation he has some sort of judgment with a non-Jew in courts, and he has to take care of it with a non-Jew. This is the best time to do it, is in the month of Adar. It's an aura, it's a special blessing. Like he says, because the mazel of Yisrael, the mazel, the luck of Israel, of the Jewish people, is very, very healthy and strong in this month. So if anyone has anything with other nations of the world, it's the best time to take care of it for your good luck. Perhaps I should say that, therefore, maybe it's a time also for us to buy the lottery. And it's allowed according to Torah, but maybe it's, not maybe, surely it's also a good month for our luck. So buying the lottery ticket this month gives us a precedence. And again, it's not, God forbid, how do you say it? To make us better than others. But it's just, we have that special neshama in us, and other gives us that, and we're as the chosen nation. Everyone has their specialty, of course. Shiva B'Adar, the 7th of Adar. Shiva B'Adar, we already had that this past month, and the reason why we celebrated in the first, because we said that also the same time it happened, there was also a leap year. There was also 2 others. So we say the 7th of the month of Adar is the day he was born, Moshe Rabbeinu, and he was unfortunately, he died. Yom Zeu Tainis Tzadikim, this is a day that by Tzadikim, they fast, they say special condolences, special, I should say atonement, sorry, special, they say the Tachanun prayers of asking for forgiveness. It's important to take this day seriously. with a feeling of holiness. And also to add in also joyous things, Torah, but of Torah and simcha and joy of a mitzvah. And like he says in the month where it ends up being 2 months of other, we do it in the first month. Actually, sorry, mistake. He was actually not. The reason why we do it this month is not because he died in this month. On the contrary, he died on the second month. Meaning he died closer to the month of Nisan. But you're not allowed to fast in the second month. So that's why we do it specifically in the first month. We celebrate it in the first month. So you shouldn't have to deal with this fasting in the second month. Mistake. Yeah, so I retract. Sorry. That's the reason why we do it in the first month is not because that's the way it was then. Sorry. He actually died, Moshe Rabbeinu actually died right before Nisan. And the other, before Nisan. And then came Nisan. The reason why we still have to celebrate it specifically in the first one because of a fast. Because there's an importance of fasting for the tzaddikim, and being that we don't want to do that in the second month. Nisuyin. Nisuyin, marriages. It's the best time to have marriages, to make weddings. Even in the second half. Because even though the second half is already after Purim, other Purim happened in the first half of the month. Nevertheless, even the second half is important. The whole month is a month of happiness. Like it says, like it says about, it doesn't say Purim became a day of a time of simcha. No, it said the whole month. That's how it's quoted in the Megillah. The whole month became a month of simcha, of happiness. It turned into a time of happiness because why are we celebrating Purim? We're celebrating Purim because the whole decree of Haman was nullified, and he ended up on the gallows. Bar mitzvahs. What about bar mitzvahs? A child, let's say he was born in a leap year. Also, the time when he's actually going to become 13 is also a leap year. So if he was born in the first month, Yigil Mitzvah's Badar Aleph, then he's going to actually have his bar mitzvah in the first month. But if he was born in the second Adar, then he should celebrate his bar mitzvah in the second Adar. But what if he was born in a regular year, and then when he has to have his bar mitzvah, it's a mubarak, it's a leap year. He shouldn't do the bar mitzvah only in the second month, only in the second Adar. Yom Zikaron Yartzeit. We say like this: Mishnah if the brother Aleph, Gam came brother Aleph. One who was departed from this world, unfortunately, in the first month. There were in the first Adar. There were 2 others, and he was in the first one. And specifically, when do we celebrate it? So the Yartzeit should be every time in the first one, if it was a leap year that year, and if a person was passed away in the second Adar. So then his Yom HaZikaron, and then his Yartzeit should be every time. His anniversary should be in the second Adar if it's a leap year. But what if a person was passed away in a regular year, in a regular Adar? There was never a leap year. So and then Shana Bu'Beres, so the leap year came around. When should we do his Yartzeit, his anniversary? We say like this: his Yartzeit anniversary should be in the first Adar, not in the second one. What if a child is accustomed to make a fasting on the day that his father passed away, or his mother? So that when should he do the fasting? Either way, when it comes to the fasting, he should do fasting both in Aleph and Beis. Sorry, he should make the fast in the first Adar, in the first, and also in the second Adar, he should say Kaddish. But obviously, you shouldn't take away space from others to be able to do their Kaddish if they have to. So this would apply also if he has to fast, because so he shouldn't be fasting, even though we said on a leap year, if he was passed away on a leap year in the first month. So then he would fast in the first month. And if it was on the second month, then he shouldn't be fasting in the second month. I would imagine he would only fast in the first month. You're not allowed to fast in the second month, though. So he wouldn't be able to fast, most probably. But here he's telling you, what if he passed away in a regular year? So then when it comes to the Uberes, when it comes to leap year, Uberes, what does he do? He has to do it in the first Adar, but he says nevertheless he should still say a Kaddish in the second one. But it shouldn't be in a way that he's going to push away other people that have their own Kaddish that they have to do for the yard sites. Purim Katan. Purim Katan. We just finished Purim Katan. We had a Purim Katan. We just mentioned that we had a Shushan Purim. We had a Purim and a Shushan Purim, and it was Katan. It was a small one. It wasn't the real one. The real one is this coming month. It was like we call it the small one because it's a leap year. Shana Pshuta in a regular year. Yemar Ba'asol Chedish. Purim the prizes. The 14th of the month is the Purim for those that didn't have a wall around from the time of Yehoshua ben Nun. Yom Chamish also on the 15th is Purim the Makafis, is the Purim for those that have walls around it. But what if it was a leap year? Purim like us, like now, Purim the Makafis, both the Purim for those that have a wall around it, and for those that don't, we call the Shushan Purim. The ones that have a wall around it, we call it by us Shushan Purim, but those that have a wall around actually celebrated that. And all that, because of the leap year, all these celebrations we do in the second month like we're doing right now. And we're going to see all the laws of Purim as we go further. Nevertheless, he says like this, and this is something very important for all of us to know because we just passed this Purim Katan, maybe we're confused what it is. Nevertheless, even in the first Adar, because we have two Adars, there's a special important law for these days. Yemar Ba'aso, who Purim Katan, Yemar Ba'aso, the 14th of this month was Purim Katan, was actually a Purim. We didn't say Tachanun, we didn't say atonements. V'yom Chamish Asar, who Shushan Purim, and the 15th was considered Shushan Purim Katan. And we don't say any Tachanun. Even on the Mincha beforehand, like we would do on a Purim. We don't say anything that we usually do on special holidays. Not allowed to do Hespeidim or Taniyot. And we even have to have an extra little bit of a meal because it's Purim Katan. Purim, and even on the Shushan Purim, which those that have walls around them would celebrate the next month, we call it Shushan Purim Katan. It's also important. It's good to increase in simcha and joy with feasting a little bit. Dinei Tanis Esther, we're holding by the laws of Tanis Esther. Thank you all for watching. We're going to go and continue these laws next week, same time, and hopefully on time at 8:30. Stay tuned for our next Purim Halacha class number 2 next week at 8:30, Thursday night. All the weeks leading up to Purim, we will be continuing to learn the laws. Anyone who has questions are welcome to ask us either in the comments below, both on YouTube or on Facebook, or send us an email at rabbi@chabadfhn.com, or call us on the telephone at 347-423-1528, or text the rabbi, or WhatsApp the rabbi. You name it. I tried to be as much as I could on the media so I could be there to answer. There are people from all walks of life, people that communicate in all different ways, and I have no choice, even though sometimes it's not so easy to work with. I know just someone today was telling me how he's shutting down his Facebook, he's shutting down his WhatsApp, he's just not on it anymore. It's just making him a sugar. Believe me, it makes me a sugar, but this is my job, and this is my calling. This is what I'm here for. I have to be there for every single person, whatever channel it may be. This is what the Rebbe taught us. He ended up on the television. You think it was his will to be broadcasted on television? It wasn't, believe me, it wasn't easy for him to do, but he said there's another Jew somewhere that's not gonna feel at home. There's another Jew that's not gonna know what to do, and he needs that guidance, and the only way is gonna be via that channel. I have to be there for them. So this is what he taught us as Chabad Chassidim, as Chabad emissaries, and this is what I try my best to emulate. And with the help of everyone else here, we will get better at it. Hopefully, as things advance, hopefully it will also be easier to without disturbances as well. We have a lot of also new things in terms of social media and amazing updated formulas to reach out to people, which we will also stay tuned and we'll let you know about shortly. It's amazing stuff that you probably never even imagined. But in the meantime, thank you all for watching. Have a great night. Have a great Shabbos. And stay tuned for our 5 on Friday with the Rabbi tomorrow. And stay warm. Seems like we're having this crazy weather going up and down, up and down. So keep warm and healthy. Again, thank you all. All the best.